A digital US dollar will require years of development and not months. That's the view from US Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen in her first speech on digital assets. And while that timeline may disappoint some, what do those closely involved in this new economy make of her speech? Let's get in Mark Lamb, Chief Executive Officer at Coinflex, a leading crypto derivatives exchange and yield platform. Great to see you again, Mark.
Yeah, great to be here.
Mark, to kick it off, Janet Yellen said that a digital dollar could become trusted money comparable to cash. But given that we have already dollar-backed stablecoins that perform pretty much how a CBDC might, would they have taken the lead by the time a digital dollar comes to fruition?
Well, I think the powerful thing about the US market is it is a competitive market where they allow the private sector to, do all sorts of things. And it really, there's the spirit of capitalism and the free market there. And so the opportunity America has is to get more dollar proliferation around the world. Dollars are not just a currency for America, but they're a geopolitical tool. The US dollar as a reserve currency is very strategically important to the US. And stablecoins are part of that policy mandate. Stablecoins on the margins proliferate dollars and increase the usage of dollars around the world.
Well, picking from this point then, now the USD is the de facto currency for international trade. And Yellen also said that a potential CBDC would have to support the dollar's role in international markets. But the world of digital currencies is a multi-coin, a multi-chain one. So how would this play out?
One of the issues the Fed has also talked about is just the simple fact that if they create a pathway to hold deposits directly at the Fed, it kind of begs the question, what's the purpose of a normal bank? Because right now you can't hold deposits at the Fed. And so if they disintermediate banks in this way, it creates a massive competitive pressure where if you're a large corporate or a large holder of dollars, it just from a risk perspective, it makes more sense to hold them at the Fed rather than at a bank. The Fed has zero counterparty risk. So I think stablecoins, privately issued stablecoins, are actually sort of a perfect counterplay to this, because they don't have this problem, as it were, of being issued directly by the Fed. That is the beauty of stablecoins. Ultimately, this is not about just competing with the existing system. This is about creating totally different forms of payments and finance and, new world finance, new world, economic transactions that have never even been possible before. It's never been possible to have dollars programmable on a blockchain. It's possible the US will create a CBDC. I think they have a lot of competitive pressure to at least continue to have very public efforts towards doing so. Actually launching one, I think they're more likely to launch one that banks can use rather than one that retail consumers can use.
Well, to your point, these are new systems that have never been seen before. Yellen also spoke about the need for regulators to have a tech-neutral approach when developing policies to protect consumers, investors, and businesses against risks from digital assets. What's your sense on how we could see regulations shape up, and what's the role and the challenges ahead for policymakers?
We think the US is ultimately the most forward-looking jurisdiction in the world when it comes to stablecoins. I think the role for the regulator is really in helping make sure that stablecoins do what they say on the tin. The promise is very simple. It's a crypto token worth $1, redeemable for $1, mintable for $1. Simple promise. And how is that promise achieved? Well, it's important for it to be backed by good collateral. It's important to be backed by $1 worth of collateral and assets that are in aggregate worth the same amount as the market cap of the stablecoin. But some stablecoins are not backed by good collateral. And I think there is a powerful role the US can play, and the different regulators in the US can play, in basically saying, okay, this is a regulated stablecoin, and this is not something we recognize. Regulating a stablecoin as a designated stablecoin is kind of a powerful next step that's going to bring a lot more confidence to consumers and also to businesses and corporates using these as payment tools.
Regulations would certainly be important in driving the interest in stablecoins. Great conversation and insights as always, Mark. Thanks for joining in.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.